Turning to business news now with Anusha Bradley. And Anusha, retail spending was a touch softer last month.
That's right, Sharon. So the latest figures from Statistics New Zealand shows electronic card spending fell 0.4% in May. That's compared to April. So less was spent on groceries, alcohol and fuel. A little more was spent on apparel. But really there was a really sharp rise in April, so maybe that little dip isn't so bad. Westpac thinks the slowdown may be due to the slowing housing market because shoppers are a bit cautious about that, and especially as debt is growing and the higher interest rates are on the cards. ANZ expects stronger figures in retail spending to come through in the next few months. That's really due to the British and Irish Lions tour, so hopefully all those Brits are spending up large while they're on holiday here. The good news is that even though there was a slight dip in the monthly figure, core retail spending, which excludes fuel and vehicle spending over the last year, is actually up nearly 5%.
And the NZIER has just released its latest outlook for the economy. Good news, bad news?
Yeah, mixed really. So it surveys all the major financial institutions and banks and works out an average forecast for the key indicators over the next 3 years. So it's a long-term outlook. On that basis, GDP growth is expected to fall slightly from 3.3% this year to 2.7% in 2020. Household spending growth, as we've just discussed, is also predicted to slow, but the population growth will offset some of that. Export growth has been quite weak over the past year, but it is expected to lift to about 3% by 2020. On the downside, though, the labour market is expected to tighten even further, putting more pressure on wages there. Inflation is expected to stay between 1 and 2% over the next 3 years, so good news for the Reserve Bank. But interest rates are expected to start rising from the middle of next year, and economists think there'll be 3 interest rate rises by March 2020.
And finally, the markets, Anusha.
Yeah, pretty quiet day in the markets. Australia's closed for their Queen's birthday weekend. Back here, the NZX 50 index has fallen just 3 points to close at 7,432. The New Zealand dollar is buying 71.93 US cents, 95.5 Australian and 56.4 British pence.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Anusha Bradley.